it also depends on the normal between the surfaces. Okay, now advantages of friction we will see. So what is the advantage? So there are various advantages. We can walk because of friction only. So friction is very much necessary to produce controlled motion. Friction is very much necessary to produce a controlled motion. So if there is no friction, all the objects will just keep on moving here and there. So if you want to control the motion, suppose if you want to walk, so that is controlled motion. So you need to have some friction from the ground. Otherwise you will slip here and there. If a bus wants to move in particular direction, the tire has to have a friction from sideways. Otherwise it will slide in any direction. So friction is very much necessary to produce controlled motion. The surfaces in contact will slip on each other without opposition in absence of friction. Okay, so these are the examples. So friction between the floor and the feet enables us to walk safely. Nail and the screw can be driven into the wall due to friction. Otherwise, you just slide. Nail will just slide. Okay. Friction supports the fingers to hold the object. So the example which I was giving, the soap example. If you do not have friction between your finger and the object, you cannot hold any object. All the objects will simply fall because of gravity. Moving wheels can be stopped due to friction. So moving wheels can be stopped only because of friction. Okay. So the fire was invented with the help of friction only. So two stones were rubbed and the fire was produced. So that is also due to friction. So the whole civilization now progressed on the basis of that. The invention of fire was a result of friction between two stones. Okay, you can see the example of tire. See, the tire is grooved, made up of rubber, so rubber has generally high friction, and it is also grooved to increase the friction further, so that the tire will not slip on the roads. Okay, the friction is greater on rubber surfaces. The groove in the rubber tire made to reduce the smoothness of the tire and increases friction, which helps avoiding skidding of the vehicles. Friction is almost absent in outer space. Okay, so in outer space it is almost absent. So that's why the earth is revolving around the sun since very long time, means since billions of years. It is revolving and it is not stopping. So if there would have been friction from the space or in the outer space, if we have some friction, that will lead to what? Slowing down of the planets, and the planets will finally stop. So friction is almost absent in outer space. Due to this, planets continue moving in their space. Okay. So there is no friction in the outer space. Very negligible. Okay. Now we move to next one. Okay, disadvantages of friction. So we also have many disadvantages of the friction, so that we will discuss. Okay, so wear and tear between machinery parts increases and reduces the life due to friction. So if you consider different machinery parts which are moving against each other, if there is friction, they will rub against each other, and because of that, there will be wear and tear in the different parts, and that decreases their life. So that is the thing, because of this, the life of the machines will be decreased. So you need to change the parts after some time, because those moving parts will get damaged. Some energy is converted into heat because of friction. Energy is converted into heat, so that is actually waste of energy. Okay, so energy is also wasted in that. So large amount of power loss in machines and engines, hence brings down their efficiency. So because of friction, the efficiency of different machines comes down because energy is lost. Okay, now we will see methods to reduce friction. So what are the different methods to reduce friction? So using lubricants. So what is this? If we use lubricants between the different moving parts of machinery, the lubricant is what? It is a liquid, and liquid forms a thin layer between different parts, and that thin layer has much less friction than the friction between two solid parts. Okay, so the liquid is used. The liquid is called lubricant. So that liquid is used to reduce the friction. Okay, so lubricant is liquid, and at some places it is also some dust kind of things. Okay, some grease is there, that is some paste kind of thing, and there are some dust kind of thing. There's graphite is also used as a lubricant. Graphite, generally liquid is there, then we have paste kind of thing, the grease which we call, then we have the solid powders of graphite, so those are also used as lubricants. Okay, then we have polishing. So if you polish a surface, the irregularities of the surface are removed. All the irregularity, all the cavities are filled, so that surface again becomes smooth. So this is also a method. Using ball bearing. So how the friction is reduced using ball bearing? You can see that when an object rolls on a surface, if you roll a ball on a surface, that can go much larger distance than sliding an object on a surface. So rolling objects has much lesser friction. So that knowledge is used in the ball bearing. So if you have suppose two wheels, one is this one and second is the outer one. If these two wheels has to rotate against each other, then if you put some ball bearings in between, there will be very small friction between these two. Okay, so that reduces the friction. So ball bearing is used between different machinery parts. So, and the reason is why do we use? Because rolling objects experiences much lesser friction. Okay, by streamlining. So what is this? If an aeroplane or a ship which is moving in air, so there we cannot do much about the air. We cannot do much. We cannot change the air or the water. So what we can do is we can change the shape of the machines which is moving. The aeroplane is designed in such a way that friction with the air is decreased. Okay, so automobile and aeroplanes have special design.